men and let the women live. But the women are only allowed to live once the men are put in this position. Now you can exploit the women. Now you can exploit them. So look at the image of African American women in the media. Prostitutes, right? Sluts. One of the main reasons why African Americans were so happy about Obama winning, and Obama's like, anyway, many reasons why, one of the reasons why African Americans were so glad about Obama winning, because who is the first lady? The same woman who's being depicted in the media as sluts, prostitutes, black women. But now your first lady, though, is a black woman. That's why many African Americans, touch their hearts. So once the men are put in that position, you can exploit the women. They're exploitable. There's no men around. So you can do whatever you want to them. That type of thing. So you're not freeing the women from oppression. You're just not killing them. So when my sons go out, I have to worry about my sons being possibly killed by police. You have to worry about that. Because African American males are hunted. They're hunted by police. And the police look for some type of weakness they can use. Some type of weakness they can use, and so on and so forth. They're hunted by the police. That's the reality that we have to deal with. Kill the men, spare the women. If you understand that right there, you will understand the essence of the African American condition. You'll understand the essence of it. And what did Pharaoh do? Kill the men and spare the women. Let the women live. Ibn Abbas said that Pharaoh had a dream. He had a dream in which he saw a flame, a fire, coming out of Jerusalem. The fire came out of Jerusalem and it came into Misr, came into Egypt, and it hit all the houses in Egypt, the Egyptians, the Copts. It hit all of them, but it didn't hit the houses of the Bani Israel. When he asked his people, what does this dream mean? They said, this means that there's going to be a leader who rises up among the Bani Israel, and he is going to destroy your throne. That's what that means. That is why Pharaoh implemented that policy. That's why he implemented that policy. Kill the men, spare the women. All right, now check this out. Flash forward. Check this one out. In the 1960s, 1967, and the government did a report. They said, I'm quoting, we must prevent the rise of a Messiah. They put Messiah in quotation marks. We must prevent the rise of a Messiah. Now, go back to Pharaoh. Pharaoh was told that someone was going to rise up among the Bani Israel and is going to destroy your throne. Flash forward to 1967, when the government said, we must prevent the rise of a Messiah who could basically, they were saying, who could unify black people. Malcolm X might have been such a Messiah. That's what they said. A Muslim, African American male. Malcolm X might have been such a Messiah. He is the martyr of the movement today. Look at that terminology. Pharaoh is talking about we have to prevent the rise of this one coming up out of the Bani Israel. And in 1967, they say we must prevent the rise of a Messiah in dealing with African Americans. African American male Muslim. How many of your people back home know that this country felt that the quote-unquote Messiah was a Muslim? Look how they're using the same type of terminology, y'all. Human nature doesn't change. The nature of oppression doesn't change. The nature of the oppressor doesn't change. Prevent the rise of someone coming up from the Bani Israel and prevent the rise of a Messiah coming out of these African Americans. You have no idea how much to this day they still fear Malcolm. You have no idea. they still feared him. So when they look at things, they look at us, African-American Muslims, particularly the males, they look at them within the context of Malcolm. And so the next one to come was Imam Jamil Al-Amin. And they put him in prison. He's in prison because he was next. He was next. That's how they deal with us. That's how they deal with us. So that's the reality that we have to deal with. That's the reality we still deal with today. Right? But look at how that's connected to how Pharaoh did it. So Pharaoh decides to kill the baby boys. And then his advisors came to Pharaoh and said, Pharaoh, if you keep killing these boys, we're going to be running out of slaves in the future. So Pharaoh's decided to do it every other year. This year, I'll let your boys live. I need slaves. I need slaves. Next year, we're going to be watching y'all women to see who's pregnant. And we're going to see who has boys. And we're killing those boys. Now, brothers and sisters, cannot Allah do everything, anything he wants to do? Of course he can. How come Allah simply didn't let Musa be born, in a year where Pharaoh wasn't killing boys? Can Allah do everything? Of course Allah can do everything. How come Allah just simply didn't say, okay, I'll let Musa be born during the year that he allows babies to be born? No. When you try to get over on Allah and you try to scheme on Allah, Allah will scheme on you. Anyone who thinks they're arrogant enough to try to outthink and outmaneuver Allah, Allah will show them you are nothing. The one who you're looking for, I'm going to let him be born during the year that you're supposed to kill him. Fool. And the one who you're looking for, look what I'm going to do to you. Look what I'm going to do to you. Musa's mother gets pregnant. During the year, he ain't supposed to have no boys. And Pharaoh got a snitch network. He's spying. Spinal. Musa's mother has the baby. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent her a revelation. And we inspired the mother of Musa, saying, suckle him. But when you fear for him, then cast him into the river, and fear not nor grieve. Truly, we shall bring him back to you, and shall make him one of our messengers. And so she put Musa in a basket and put him in the Nile. Allah says, then he came to the household of Pharaoh. Then the household of Pharaoh picked him up, that he might become for them an enemy and cause of grief. For verily, Pharaoh, Haman, and their host were sinners. And the wife of Pharaoh said, who could not have a baby of her own, and the wife of Pharaoh said, a comfort of the eye for me and for you. Kill him not. Perhaps he may be of benefit to us, or we may adopt him as a son. And they perceived not the result of what they were doing. Allah said, you fool, I'm going to let him be born during the year that you're supposed to kill baby boys, and you're going to raise them. You're going to feed them. You're going to adopt them. So can you imagine Pharaoh's wife? Let's keep them. Okay, yeah. Kill. He could be outside. Okay, yeah, you keep him. Go ahead. Kill, idiot. Allah says man has a qaid, man has a scheme. But truly the qaid of Allah, truly the scheme of Allah is more powerful. And that's how we also have to look at it today too. All the things that they're doing and so on and so forth, they're scheming on Islam, scheming on us, scheming to do this, scheming to do that, so on and so forth. Allah's scheme is much greater than their scheme. And they're doing things to us that they can't even perceive is going to be their downfall. They can't even perceive it's going to be their downfall. They can't even, Pharaoh couldn't perceive that. He couldn't perceive that. He's arrogant. This is my scheme, it's going to work. That type of thing. They can't even perceive that the very things they're doing to us and their schemes are the very, it's the very thing that will bring them down. They can't even see it. Let me close with this, inshallah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives a covenant to all oppressed people. First and foremost to the believers. It's a covenant. But oppressed people have to follow it. And we wish to do a favor to those who are weak and oppressed, mustadafin. You know, the same word for da'if. If a hadith is weak, it's da'if. Same root in terms of mustadafin. People who've been made weak, oppressed. Same comes from the same word, da'if. They're weak. They've been weakened, right? And we wish to do a favor to those who were weak and oppressed in the land. What was the favor? And to make them the rulers, and to make them the inheritors, and to establish them in the land. And we let Pharaoh and Haman and their hosts receive from them that which they feared. Look at that statement. It is Allah's wish, desire, that these oppressed people, the ones who are despised and rejected, they're going to be the leaders. They're going to inherit power. We're going to establish them in the land. And the thing that Pharaoh and his hosts feared from them, all oppressors fear something in the oppressed. They fear a potential in the oppressed. They fear a potential. Same here. They fear, like, the potential of African Americans is feared. Like, don't you notice how, like, other people imitate African Americans? Particularly African American youth. Dress like them, talk like them, walk like them. It's like influence. It's influence. In Malaysia, the style in Malaysia among youth is like it look like African American males from America. They're hip hopping in China. There's Punjabi rappers. Influence. Influence is leadership. So the oppressors have a fear. Just like our oppressors, they know our potential as Muslims. They know our potential as Muslims. They studied us. They know us better than many of us do. Our oppressors, the enemies of Islam, knows our potential. They know it. So what Allah is saying is that these people who are weak and oppressed, it was Allah's desire to make them the leaders, to make them the inheritors. And Pharaoh and his hosts, the thing that they feared in them, their potential, Allah will make Pharaoh and his hosts see their potential. Their potential will become realized. That's a covenant that Allah makes with all oppressed people. What do oppressed people do in return? Follow Allah. Follow His guidance. Follow it. Follow it. But it's hard for oppressed people to do. And so now we begin this process of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bringing Musa, raising Musa up among his people and among Egypt. Musa also was raised, in, as we said, in Pharaoh's house, in like close to power, very close to power. He wasn't intimidated by power. He wasn't intimidated by Pharaoh's power. He was raised in it. He was raised in it, right? Where are we raised at?
Belly of the beast.
Belly of the beast. We understand. I'm afraid of. No. Back home, they might, I'm Rika. But we like, no. Right? Where we raised at? Oh, serious, y'all. It's serious. It's serious. And so, inshallah, we'll stop here, have Maghrib, have dinner, and next week, inshallah, we'll begin. The revolution begins, like the steps that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives Musa, the steps that He gives Musa, right? Things to do. Many lessons in that today, right? And inshallah, we'll proceed from there. So be prepared, like, because there's so many lessons in it. We're gonna be going off on tangents. We gotta be dealing with some tangents. They're related, but we gotta deal with some tangents. You know what I'm saying? Because there's just so many. It's so laden with lessons. Jazakallah khair for coming. Aqulu qawli hadha. Astaghfirullahi li wa lakum.